Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Bolo.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha, Kalachandji Radha, Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Radha, Kalachandji Radha, Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Govinda. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. One more time, everybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahanta, Paravakacharya, Asatara Satta Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Paravakacharya, Asatara Satta Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivatari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shri Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yogya Ki Jai. Brihamardanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Thank you so much. Oh, do you want to play or should I play? Do you want to play Mridanga or should I play? I can play Mridanga. Hare Krishna. Can somebody get me a Mridanga? Thank you, Primo. Sorry, Prabhupada. Yeah, I was thinking they don't sound good.
Let me get you a different one.
Okay, thank you. Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Givadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Givadhari Yashodanandana Brajajanna Anjana Yashodanandana Brajajanna Anjana Yamunatira Vanachai Yamunatira Vanachai Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givadhai Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givadhai Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachai Yamuna Tira Vanachai Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyayet Naskapayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. I just found out I was giving it this morning. His Grace Nanda Braj Prabhu is sick this morning, so let's pray for him for a quick recovery. And I'll just read through this and see what I can speak. I'll just be, repeating whatever I've heard from the previous acharyas and all the different devotees. So my apologies in advance if I make any mistakes. Please don't hesitate to correct me. I am born in the darkness of ignorance, and I'm still there, so Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 4, chapter 26, and we'll be reading from verse 11 up until verse 26, and we'll be focusing on text 21. So we also don't have a TV this morning. I don't know why. I don't know if the demigod of technology was mad at us this morning, but TV just wouldn't connect to the laptop. So anyways, we'll do it old school style. Yes, chapter 26. So Canto 4, chapter 26, we'll start with verse 11. We'll read from verse 11 up until 26, and then we'll focus on 21. It's already 8 a.m., so we'll just kind of go through it quickly. So Antari, do you want to start with verse 11, and we can move? Oh, no microphone. I think we'll get one. Yeah, thanks. I'll start reading. Okay, text 11. After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry, and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had an appropriate dinner. Then he took rest and thus became freed from all restlessness. Just to give a little bit of context, so we see that the king, Puranjana, he went to the forest to hunt, leaving his queen behind. Usually he's super attached to his queen, but this time he was able to let her go just to go hunting. When hunting means to go and try to enjoy material sense gratification. So now he's about to come back home, and we'll see what happens. So text 12.
After this, King Puranjana decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared scented sandalwood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out his queen.
Maybe we can do 2 each.
After taking his dinner and having his thirst and hunger satisfied, King Puranjana felt some joy within his heart. Instead of being elevated to a higher consciousness, he became captivated by Cupid and was moved by a desire to find his wife, who kept him satisfied in the household life.
At that time, King Puranjana was a little anxious, and he inquired from the household woman, "My dear beautiful woman, are you and your mistress all very happy like before or not?" King Puranjana said, "I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think that there is neither a mother nor a devoted wife at home. The wife at home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot?"
Kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me when I'm drowning in the ocean of danger. By giving me good intelligence at every step, she always saves me. All the women addressed the king. O master of the citizens, we do not know why your dear wife has taken on this sort of existence. O killer of enemies, kindly look. She is lying on the ground without bedding. We cannot understand why she is acting in this way.
So remember, the queen was the intelligence.
The great sage Narada continued, "My dear King Prachinabarhi, as soon as King Puranjana saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. The king, with a grieved mind, began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words. Though he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife."
It's interesting here how anger can be a sign of love. That's what it's showing here. He's kind of like even upset. It's like, why are you not angry at me? I left you here and I went hunting. Anyways, keep going.
Because the king was very expert in flattery, he began to pacify his queen slowly. First, he touched her 2 feet, then embraced her nicely, seated her on his lap, and began to speak as follows. King Puranjana said, "My dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts a servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate."
My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know that such is the duty of his friend. My dear wife, your teeth are very beautifully set, and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give up your anger, be merciful unto me, and please smile upon me with loving attachment. When I see a smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is as beautiful as the color blue, and your raised nose, and hear your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me, and thus attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress.
We're going until 26, so 3 more. You can read the last 3.
O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment as long as he does not belong to the Brahmana caste. But for the servant of Murari Krishna, I excuse no one within or beyond these 3 worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am prepared to punish him. My dear wife, until this day, I have never seen your face without tilak decorations, nor have I seen you so morose and without luster or affection, nor have I seen your 2 nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes, nor ever before have I seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as the bimba fruit, without their reddish hue.
My dear queen, due to my sinful desire, I went to the forest to hunt without asking you. Therefore, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your most intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Actually, I am very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. But where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him?
Okay, so now we'll focus on verse 21. Go back to 21. So we can recite together. Puranjana uvacha nunam tvakita punyaste Vritya yesh vishvara shubhe Krita gesh vash tatmasat kritva Shiksha dandam nayunjate. Please recite. Puranjana uvacha Nunan tvakrita punyaste Vidya yeshishvara shubhe Idvagashat masakritva Shiksha dandam nayunjate Puranjana uvacha Nunam tvakita punyaste Vidya yeshishvara shubhe Kritakastavataha Kitva Shikshadandam Nayunjate. Okay, in the interest of time, we'll move on to the word for word so we can all recite together. Puranjana Uvacha. Puranjana said, Nunam, certainly, tu, then, Arkiti Punya, those who are not pious, te, such, Brityaha, servants, Yeshu, unto whom, Ishvara, the masters, Shube, o most auspicious one, Krita Agashu, having committed an offense, Atmasat, accepting as their own, Kritva, doing so, Shiksha, instructive, Dandam, punishment, Na Yunjate, do not give. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjana said, My dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts a servant as his own man, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, domestic animals and servants are treated exactly like one's own children. Animals and children are sometimes punished not out of vengeance, but out of love. Similarly, a master sometimes punishes his servant not out of vengeance, but out of love, to correct him and bring him to the right point. Thus, King Puranjana took his punishment dealt by his wife, the queen, as mercy upon him. He considered himself the most obedient servant of the queen. She was angry at him for his sinful activities, namely hunting in the forest and leaving her at home. King Puranjana accepted the punishment as actual love and affection from his wife. In the same way, when a person is punished by the laws of nature, by the will of God, he should not be disturbed. A real devotee thinks in this way. When a devotee is put into an awkward position, he takes it as the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Tatenu kampam susamikshamano punjana evatma kitam vipakam hidvagva pulbil vidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. Bhagavatam 10:14-8. This verse states that the devotee accepts a reversal of his position in life as a benediction by the Lord, and consequently offers the Lord more obeisances and prayers, thinking that the punishment is due to his past misdeeds and that the Lord is punishing him very mildly. The punishment awarded by the state or by God for one's own faults is actually for one's benefit. In the Manu Samhita, it is said that the king should be considered merciful when he condemns a murderer to death, because a murderer punished in this life becomes freed from his sinful activity, and in the next life takes birth, cleared of all sins. If one accepts punishment as a reward dealt by the master, he becomes intelligent enough to commit the same mistake again. This is a very nice verse. This is very nice verse and purport. I mean, Prabhupada kind of says it all, honestly, but I guess I can just share that this really affects me, like, personally. This really relates to me personally, actually. I mean, that's why I'm here now, because I received enough kicks by Maya, enough punishments for my own actions, for my own sinful activities, to the point where I had to wake up and I had to turn towards God, towards Krishna. And there's different ways to handle the situation, like, when you're going through a rough time, like, I guess it's easier if you did something wrong, then if you have some humility, you can kind of realize, okay, I did something wrong and you need to do better. But sometimes it's hard because it's like, hey, I didn't even do anything wrong, I didn't even do anything wrong. All of a sudden, I crashed, somebody crashed into me, somebody didn't put the blinker on, you didn't know they were coming, they just crash into you, and then you end up paralyzed, and you're just like, what did I do to deserve this? And this is why we're so fortunate to have this knowledge of karma. That we understand that everything that happens to us is a result of our own activities. And even as a devotee, it goes even deeper than that. Then there's another level of karma. There's like Krishna karma that can happen. And it's not even like something bad is happening to me because I deserve it so much, but sometimes Krishna, he comes in and meddles with things a little bit just so that you can get free of your last little attachment to material sense gratification. He can tell, he's like, man, he really wants to be free from it, but he's still somewhat entangled. And he's like, let me just arrange a couple of kicks for him to wake up, So this verse here is a very famous verse. I lost the page. What page is it? 18? No. Which verse are we reading? Sorry. 21. Yeah, this verse here, Tate Nukampam Susamik Shamano. I think we should all memorize this, make an effort to memorize this verse here in the Bhagavatam 10:14-8. This is the prayers of Lord Brahma, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, nobody is correcting me, good. So this is the prayers of Lord Brahma. They're actually amazing. I mean, obviously the best is if you can read the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, but even if you at one point just want to just take the time just to read the prayers of Lord Brahma, I don't know. I read them when I was flying from Krishna House, Gainesville, back to Canada, and I read it, the whole thing. And I don't know, they just really hit me, and they're really beautiful. So this is really important here. This verse states that the devotee accepts a reversal of his position in life as a benediction by the Lord, and consequently offers the Lord more obeisances and prayers, thinking that the punishment is due to his past misdeeds and that the Lord is punishing him very mildly. So this is the mood of a devotee. This is what we should be aspiring for. It's a high standard, but we should know what the standard is. Let's say something really rough is going on. Let's say I get really sick out of nowhere. And, the mind might right away go to saying, why is this happening to me? I have so much services to do. Krishna, do I really deserve this? But actually we understand, hey, whatever happens to me is a result of my own karma. And actually because I've been doing some service to Krishna and I've been trying to devote myself to him, that actually he's minimizing things. He's punishing me mildly. Maybe I if you stubbed your toe on a branch or something, on a piece of wood, actually maybe you were meant to break your toe, but actually it was minimized a little bit like that. So I'm just curious if anybody wants to share a situation like this where you had a reversal in life. Was there a time where you had a reversal? A reversal, I guess, means you were doing a certain activity and you were expecting a certain result and then you got the opposite. And so I guess that would be a reversal. So I'm just wondering if there's a situation like this where at the time it felt like this is terrible. This is not what I expected, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Yes, Mataji. Anybody have a microphone for her? Please.
Hare Krishna. So there was a devotee who was cooking in the kitchen, and Prabhupada was there in the temple. And so somehow or other, the devotee cut his finger really badly. So he went and he told Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, I cut my finger so badly. He said, the knife that cut your finger was meant to cut your throat, but Krishna saved you.
Oof. Hare Krishna. Jai. Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything you want to share like that in that regard?
Hi Krishna, thank you. It's a little bit different, not sharing, but along the lines of Krishna karma, because I feel, obviously Srila Prabhupada said this, but I'm wondering if we have that mentality, it can help us have more gratefulness for having a lesser pain than something we deserve, but it might not necessarily instill the mentality that we still need to learn from that mistake. When we cut his finger, yeah, we can be grateful that it should have been our throat, but we also have to learn from that and know that we need to handle the knife differently next time or something. I feel it's nice to combine the two so we have the mood of gratefulness and also taking away a learning lesson.
Of Of course. I mean, that's the main thing, is we should always see how we can learn from our lessons and not do them again. But I guess this is just to kind of pacify the mind a little bit, to get into a state more of acceptance instead of like rejectance. Because basically, this is what can make us actually like peaceful in a sense, and like happy in a sense, is if we can learn to accept things as they come and not reject, accept, but also, like you say, learn and grow from that.
Yeah, I just say this because I remember when I was really new to the devotee community, I stopped with the devotee. We were doing something in this parking lot, and this woman came and said, "Oh, I'm gonna lock the doors like in 10 minutes. You need to leave by then." And she said, "Okay." And then we still sat there for a long time, and then we were talking. I was like, "Maybe we should go." And she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I think it's only been a few minutes." So we got locked in there. And then I was like, "What?" Okay. And then the whole situation, her mindset taking was, "Oh, Krishna probably saved us from an accident." And I was thinking, okay, I mean, that could be true, but like she blatantly told us, like, we also need to understand that we should have been more mindful of these things. So I feel that, sometimes it can create a different kind of mentality.
I would say, one doesn't exclude the other. We can have both perspective that, okay, maybe this is Krishna's arrangement, but also how can I learn? How can I, it's like one doesn't exclude the other, in my opinion. So, what else was I gonna say? I totally forgot. Anybody else? Yeah? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. There was one devotee that was serving Srila Prabhupada, and somehow he made a mistake. Prabhupada asked him to do something, and he made some small mistake, and it ended up being not an ideal outcome. It was just a small thing. But then he went and he said to Prabhupada, somehow this was Krishna's arrangement. And Prabhupada said, "No, this was not Krishna's arrangement. This is your foolishness." So, we can't just, like what Kaylee was saying, it was possibly her foolishness, and not like being like, "Oh, we're going to get locked in if we don't get out of here. Let's get out of it." It just doesn't matter. We'll just talk as long as we want and see what happens.
It's like I've only been here like a month, and I lost like many really like important things, expensive things that I had. And I could easily say, "Oh, Krishna, he's taken away my material attachments. He's so kind." But in reality, I was just foolish leaving stuff around. And so, but I guess this is why we have spiritual master. You can run it by him, being like, "Okay, this is the situation," and he can tell you, "Oh, okay, this is Krishna's arrangement, or this is your foolishness." And brings me to the topic of the punishment actually being a mercy. Being mercy, I think that was the theme of this verse. Because you see here, King Puranjana is saying that when a master accepts a servant as his own man, but does, like, meaning his own, but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate. So it's actually a great blessing if we can get corrected, if we can get punished like that. Because else, how else are we supposed to learn? In our own mind, because of our false ego, we think, we're doing the best that we can, and we're not always even conscious of the things how our behavior affects others, And so this is why this mood of humility is so important. And it's not necessarily that it has to be like, master-servant situation, but even somebody who's just a little bit, more of an authority figure, or has that responsibility, has been given that role to give you some constructive, gentle, correction. We should really be taking it as a great blessing, like, thank you so much, because we know it's not easy. As devotees, we don't like, or at least we shouldn't like telling people what to do or like correcting them. It shouldn't be something that we really like to do, because that would mean we like the power, we like the authority, we like feeling superior. But we were given this service. Some devotees are given this service, and so if we receive correction from a certain devotee in that service, we should take it as a great blessing, actually. And it really stuck to me. If you've heard this from Vaisheshkar Prabhu, when he visited Toronto over a year ago, that's like the main thing that stuck to me when he came by, is he's like, you should live to be corrected. It really helps me, like, to just have that mantra in my mind, like, just live to be corrected. And in that way, you're prepared. Because right away you get defensive, unless it's done like super, super carefully. But sometimes we don't always do it the most tactfully. Sometimes it doesn't always come out. We try. Like we learn, and we have Nitai core training right now. It's like leadership training. And we're learning how to have nonviolent communication. And one way to practice this is that this is taught by Kalakanta Prabhu. He says we should try to use open-ended questions as much as possible. It opens the door for more open communication. So instead of saying like, why didn't you come to Mangalarti? You can simply ask like, oh, I noticed you weren't there at Mangalarti. Like, how are you doing? And then the devotee can explain, oh, actually, like, I'm not feeling well, or I'm really worried about this and that, but they don't feel like interrogated. So there's ways that we can gently correct or help devotees in their path without being, without them feeling attacked. However, on the other side, the devotee that received the direction also should cultivate this mood of humility and this acceptance, this openness of correction, actually. Yeah, I'm just thinking of sometimes that I got corrected. Sometimes it's hard, but at the end I always feel grateful for it after some time. So I don't know if anybody wants to share some situations where maybe you got a correction that maybe at the time was difficult, but in the end, like, you're grateful for it. I was just wondering if anybody wants to share some stories about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. This was my first day starting Krishna House here in Dallas, and I don't really like so much to be told what to do. And I remember I was spending a lot of time looking at the deities instead of doing Guru Puja, and then I was advised that I should spend less time looking at the deities and focusing with the family, and doing the Guru Puja. And at first I was just annoyed. I was like, I have to go to school right after this. I want to look at the deities. But then so I was a little bit annoyed. And then I had the realization that actually how I can look at the deities, I need to work on my relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And so that was Krishna's arrangement, actually, because I actually needed to spend more time with Srila Prabhupada rather than the deities. So it took some time for my ego to go down, but then I really appreciated that arrangement. So
thank you so much. Anybody else? I can think of somebody else. Everybody else has always been perfect this whole time,
I can share a reversal, so I'm a little
Sure.
slow, so I go back to your first question.
Okay, sounds good. That works. Yeah.
So this long, okay. So a long time ago, there was a reversal because of which I was wanting to sell my condo in LA and go back to India. And so sold off everything, went back to India, and the escrow fell apart.
What fell apart?
The escrow, escrow
know
is
what
the
that is.
process where you sell the property.
Okay.
So, you get into a contract, and so the contract fell apart.
Okay.
So I was in India, and there was a lot of debt to pay. So I was really what, why is this happening to me? I've just, severed all ties, gone back to India, and now I have to come back to figure out how to pay off this property. So I came back from India, and I realized that this condo is actually very close to the Hare Krishna temple in LA. and because I'd sold off our vehicles also, so I had to take a bus to go to work. And so the bus would stop Bagley and Main, which was right next to the ISKCON temple.
Whoa.
And so, so every day from work, I would just go have darshan and then walk back home. And so that process really softened my heart to the point that, you know, I ultimately, amongst other things, took to Krishna consciousness.
Jai Shri
So,
Krishna.
yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
so the condo not going through, not getting sold, at that point in time felt like, you know, a big reversal, but it helped me become Krishna conscious.
That's amazing. Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Now we're back to the original topic. But yeah. Any experiences of like corrections that maybe at the time like it stung a little bit, but at the end you were grateful for it? Like
Hare Krishna. This is kind of personal, but so I exercise every day, and I used to, especially this happened last summer, I would sleep later in the summer because my daughter didn't have school. So I would get up at 5 and I'd take my time, and then I'd exercise from 6 to 7. And during that time, like around 6, my husband would get up and he'd get my daughter ready, and then they'd go to the temple. So I work out from 6 to 7, and then I would like just do work at home. And anyway, I didn't go to the temple much except for on the weekend. And then at one point, my husband said to me, we got in some argument, and he told me that I was spending way too much time on my body and on material things, and not, you know, doing, like, focusing on devotional things. And I was so insulted. And I was like, I chant 16 rounds and I follow all the regular principles and I'm listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. Like, how dare you say that to me? So then I thought, you know what, I'm going to show him. So I'm going to get up at 4:30 and I'm going to work out from 5 to 6, and then I'm going to go to the temple. And so just by trying to show him, I got really hooked on coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class.
There you go.
And that's why I'm here every day, is from that one argument.
Jai. This is beautiful, this is how devotees, this is how we deal with it, you know, like we make the best out of it, right? I'll just share one and then we can close off. Yeah, when I first joined, I think I was a few months into the movement, and I joined at the Toronto Temple in the Bhakti Academy. And it's like, at first it's like so many rules, it's like so many things, and things that doesn't make like so much logical sense sometimes. Like one thing is like, you don't bring your japa bag into the washroom. That took me a while with that one. And I think there was one day I wasn't like doing so well, I guess, I don't know, I was struggling, and we went out on a trip somewhere. And then we were like at a beach, and then I went to the washroom, and then a devotee saw me going in, and he's like, oh, don't go in. And I actually got so offended. But eventually, now I have never done it again. So, you know, I'm really grateful for it in the end. And sometimes you need your ego slapped a little bit, you know? Even like, who was it? I think our friend Deg Kirtan Prabhu, the other night, he was telling us, he's like, man, you guys are too soft on me. He's like, I want to take an ashish from Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, because he's like, I need more heaviness, you know? So actually it can be sometimes, yeah, out of love, sometimes we need to be a little bit heavy. If we have that service, you know, obviously. So anyways. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai. Hare Krishna.